Feeling rejected can really hurt, especially when it comes to our dreams and connections with others. But what if there was a guide to help us through it? Stoicism, a way of thinking brought to us by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, gives us just that, a path to follow when times get rough. Let's dive into 5 Stoic ideas that can change how we see rejection, turning it from a roadblock into a stepping stone toward growth and peace. Lesson number 1. Understand control. Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Recognizing the boundary between what we can and cannot control is pivotal. Rejection is an external event beyond our control, but our reactions and emotions towards it are within our domain. Accept the moment of rejection without letting it dictate your emotional state, recognizing it as an external circumstance while maintaining your internal peace. For instance, imagine you've nurtured a relationship, investing emotionally, and one day it unexpectedly crumbles, leaving you with a harsh rejection. Or perhaps you've been bypassed for a promotion at work, despite your relentless effort and dedication. These situations are inherently painful and, oftentimes, beyond our control. However, Epictetus advises us to control our response to these instances, not allowing them to unsettle our peace of mind or self-worth. In relationships, it's natural to feel the sting when they don't pan out as hoped, but it's pivotal to remember that one's value is not determined by someone else's inability to see it. Your emotional well-being, thoughts and actions remain solely under your jurisdiction. Therefore, amid the whirlwind of rejection, anchor yourself in the understanding that your response, not the rejection itself, holds the power. In professional arenas, a bypassed promotion or a rejected proposal might seem like a setback. Yet, acknowledging that organizational decisions are external, often influenced by various unseen factors, liberates you from the trap of personalizing the rejection. Focus instead on maintaining your work ethic and continuing to forge ahead, for your career trajectory is shaped by persistent effort, not singular events. Thus, understanding and embodying control becomes not only a shield guarding against the turmoil that rejection often brings, but also a compass, guiding through it with steadfast resolve and tranquility. Lesson number 2. Detach self-worth from external events. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinions of himself than on the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius. Navigating through the tumultuous sea of life, we often tether our self-worth to external validations, like the sailboat anchored to a rocky outcrop, vulnerable to the raging waves of external opinions and validations. Marcus Aurelius nudges us towards a poignant truth about human nature, the paradox of our inherent self-love, juxtaposed with our frequent dismissal of our own self-worth, favoring instead the opinions of others. Consider this. You've put your heart and soul into a project at work, meticulously crafting each element, only to encounter rejection from your peers or supervisors. Or maybe, in a more personal realm, you find yourself mustering the courage to express your feelings towards someone, only to be met with unreciprocated emotions. These scenarios, so deeply intertwined with our endeavors and vulnerabilities, can seemingly shatter our self-esteem if we allow them to be reflective of our worth. However, Marcus Aurelius prompts a shift in perspective, to disconnect our intrinsic value from the external events and opinions enveloping us. When the project you've labored over faces disapproval, it's crucial to discern that the rejection pertains to the work, not the worker. It provides an opportunity to refine and revise without depreciating your inherent worth or capabilities. Likewise, in the personal realm, unreciprocated feelings can sting, but it's vital to embrace the understanding that one's worth is not dictated by another's emotions or perceptions. It's a mere divergence of feelings, not a reflection of your value as a person. In both scenarios, envisioning rejection as a separate entity, not as a mirror reflecting your worth, fosters resilience and perpetuates a healthy, steadfast self-esteem that isn't swayed by external tides. This Stoic strategy, while simple in concept, demands conscious practice and reflection, and in doing so, it molds a mental fortress, safeguarding your self-worth against the ebbs and flows of external validations and rejections. This gentle, yet profound uncoupling of self-worth from external events, as illuminated by Marcus Aurelius, navigates us towards a tranquil harbor, where our self-esteem rests securely, unbuffeted by the external storms of rejection and approval. Lesson number 3. Transformative use of difficulties. Navigating through the varied landscapes of life, particularly through the valleys shaded by rejection, we often discover hidden trails that lead us towards growth and evolution. An artist, for instance, might find their creations, each a piece of their soul, rejected by a gallery. This collision with rejection, while potentially devastating, can also seed a forest of revelations and insights, should one choose to tread through it discerningly. It isn't merely a dark cloud, but rather a rain shower that could nurture the seeds of improved creativity and refined technique. In another sphere, an entrepreneur, despite infusing every ounce of passion and acumen into their startup, might be greeted with closed doors from investors and a lukewarm market reception. Here, every rejection could be perceived as a roadblock, or alternatively, a signpost, redirecting towards a more refined, optimized path. This journey, sprinkled with failures, is not a derailment, but potentially a series of redirects, progressively steering towards a trajectory more aligned with success. In this realm of rejections and redirections, Seneca once noted, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." It's this friction, found abundantly in our trials and rejections, that we find the raw materials to gradually sculpt our perfection. The artist finds ways to enhance their expression, and the entrepreneur discovers more potent strategies, not by avoiding, but by traversing through the friction provided by their respective challenges. Thus, the essence of transformative use of difficulties lies in our willingness to perceive rejection not as an end, but as a means, a tool through which we can meticulously carve our path forward. Each rejection, when unwrapped with introspection and understanding, reveals kernels of wisdom, propelling us not just towards overcoming, but towards an elegant mastery of our journey, shaped, refined, and polished through every trial encountered. Lesson number 4. Live according to your principles. Marcus Aurelius softly reminds us, "Let the quality of your deeds speak on your behalf." We live in a culture that relishes tearing others down out of jealousy, resentment, or spite. You must rise above it by not begrudging them. These words echo the sentiment that our actions, intertwined with our principles, should form our voice, rising gracefully above the transient waves of societal judgment and rejection. Take, for instance, a writer, diligently weaving stories that plunge into unconventional narratives or challenge prevailing beliefs. Faced with the stark chill of rejection from publishers, who perhaps find the narratives too straying from mainstream preferences, the writer stands at a crossroad. By unwaveringly committing to their unique style of storytelling, not only does the writer preserve their authentic voice, but they also carve a space for a niche audience, one that values and seeks such distinct tales. By entwining our path with unyielding principles, we not only build a sturdy foundation in our personal and professional realms, but also magnetize opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that harmonize with our genuine selves. Thus, crafting our journey with the unwavering threads of principled actions enables us to soar above the ephemeral pulls of societal approval, crafting a journey intricately aligned with our authentic being. Lesson number 5. Embrace the impermanence of life. Navigating through life's undulating waves requires understanding and embracing its inherent impermanence. Knowing that every incident, including rejection, is merely a transient moment, not only lightens our emotional burden, but also paves the way for approaching new opportunities with an unburdened heart. The sting of rejection is temporary, and its pain will fade, leaving behind a path that's ripe with new potential and possibilities. Reflect upon the journey of an athlete whose path is often punctuated with both victories and defeats. A moment of rejection or loss, while disheartening, does not seal their fate, but instead serves as a fleeting obstacle, steering them toward renewed vigor and strategies. As they navigate through the temporal disappointments, their resilience becomes a beacon of persistent effort and undeterred spirit. Seneca beautifully encapsulates this in his wisdom, stating, "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive." His words remind us to not cower in the face of potential endings or rejections, but to live each moment fully, understanding that every experience, positive or negative, is transient and will pass. An example from an academic context mirrors this. A student, despite facing rejection from a chosen university, discovers new pathways, exploring diverse institutions, and perhaps stumbling upon uncharted passions. By seeing rejection not as an indefinite failure, but as a temporary redirect, the impermanent nature of the disappointment morphs into a stepping stone toward different opportunities. Through absorbing Seneca's wisdom, every rejection can be viewed not as an everlasting setback, but a momentary pause, eventually making way for the new prospects life generously offers. Accepting the ebb and flow of life's experiences enables us to traverse through rejections with tranquility and perpetual readiness for forthcoming opportunities. In traversing through the landscape of rejection, we've uncovered Stoic wisdom that not only helps us navigate through the harsh terrain, but also transforms it into a ground of profound growth and self-discovery. Remember that rejection is not a reflection of your worth, but a mere incident, a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of life. Let's hold tight to these Stoic lessons, turning each no into a new starting point, each setback into a setup for a comeback. We become not victims of rejection, but architects of resilience, crafting a future where our inner peace and worth are unshakable. Let's continue to learn, grow, and most importantly, move forward, hand in hand with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Thank you for joining this journey, and may your path be illuminated with the strength to face all rejections with grace and steadfast spirit.